This is Dr. Jason Gerard from Lake Chiropractic in Forest Lake, Minnesota. And today what I'm going to be talking about is the connection between chiropractic and ear infections. I think to myself that we have a huge percentage of our practices that are under the age of 18. And one of the biggest things we see with people that are under the age of 10 are ear infections. And it's always funny, if I tell the public that I see a lot of kids with ear infections, anyone who's never been to chiropractic care usually looks at me and says, how would that have anything to do with it? Well, it brings me back to one of my favorite stories with chiropractic and ear infections of a little boy named Anthony. And Anthony was a kid who was born, and at first he was supposed to be a quote-unquote normal birth, but the birth got rough, and they had to be pretty aggressive to get him out. And so he started off being a very colicky boy, and that, of course, that colic ended, but then it turned over into ear infections. To the point, by the time he was 3 years old, this young boy Anthony had at least a dozen ear infections, had already gone through 2 sets of ear tubes because the first ones weren't falling out, so they had to do it twice, which is a major surgery. And they had literally walked in my door, and they were literally at wit's end and had no idea. They're like, we just don't know what else to do, but we heard you maybe could help. And I started to adjust Anthony, and within a very, very short period of time, those 3 years of torment and ear infections, one after another, stopped. In fact, I've worked with Anthony for years. And I can think maybe in the years I've worked with him, multiple years, maybe one more ear infection is all that I've ever seen with him. Again, what does chiropractic do? We work with the nervous system, and what we find in a young person is the top bones in the neck are the bones that have the same bones and nerves that go right to the ear cavities and right to the ear sinuses. And so the thing to understand about that is if I could get that area functioning better, could that area and could those muscles work and move and function better as a unit? And that's what we find. The great thing about it is it doesn't take any drugs, it doesn't take any antibiotics, and it for sure doesn't take any surgery. So again, if you or someone that you know has a child, a niece, or a nephew that's suffering from ear infections, come check us out at www.lakewoodschiropractic.com. This is Dr. Jason Gerard in Forest Lake, Minnesota.